Welcome to my channel. This is Bruce the Boss reporting to you from my parents' place here in Georgia, as I've been off on vacation for about a week and a half and a little road trip cross country, having done a 100-mile century ride for the Multiple Sclerosis Society this past Saturday. Drove all the way up to Philly from Texas and then making my way back down. I'm making a little pit stop here at my parents in Georgia, but I had to talk about what just came down the pipes in terms of YouTube bringing down a hammer as it pertains to any channels and or videos that says anything negative against the jab, which is very disturbing. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video for as long as it's up and as long as my channel is still available, because I have been a victim of the YouTube censorship nuke. My previous channel, just as I was hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark this past July, they decided to nuke my channel because I spoke out against the narrative a little too much. Final strike, boom. So I'm starting fresh, and your subscriptions definitely help me rebuild and go against the YouTube that is trying to suppress any and all alternative thought. I am not anti-vax. I'm not anti-lockdown, anti-mandate. I am all about freedom of choice, freedom of decision, whatever that decision happens to be for you as an individual and or population. If you choose to get the jab, I will support that decision 100% to the death. And if you choose not to, I'll support you there as well. But this idea that you cannot speak ill of the jab whatsoever is very troubling. And are they going to take it that far? Or are they just limiting it to people who are overstating adverse reactions? Because that's one thing. If you were just saying, you know what, we're not going to allow any videos or content that will overstate the number of adverse reactions by saying things like anaphylactic shock, organ failure, myocarditis are a common, if not highly likely scenario of getting the jab, then yeah, no, that is misinformation. That's wrong. However, to try to remove any comments of adverse reactions is perhaps even more dangerous, because you're removing the ability of people to have access to all of the information out there. We've already seen YouTube do this to some extent. They've even admitted to silencing medical professionals, scientists, practicing doctors, and physicians on their channel for going against the World Health Organization's suggestions and or Dr. Fauci and others a part of a certain agenda, no matter how scientific that research and or debate and contraring information is. We've seen them do this with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He was having a roundtable discussion with scientists and physicians from the most prestigious universities in the country, if not the world, such as MIT, Oxford, Stanford. And just because they were questioning certain protocols happening in other states and or other countries around the world, they decided to nuke the video. Again, they were having a scientific inquiry and or discussion, and they've nuked it. They've already started nuking and or censoring doctors and or physicians. We've seen them nuke a video from Steven Crowder when all he did was literally report the numbers from bears on the CDC's own website. He didn't overstate the adverse reactions or overstate the numbers. He just shared the numbers. That's all. And they said, no, apparently the fact and information, anything that can dissuade someone from getting the jab, is not information they want people to have, which is very dangerous. And you see that this is happening at a time just days after Project Veritas released their damning report and or expose video on a hospital, I believe in Arizona, that where you had secretly recorded doctors at that facility speak out against the jab and the adverse reactions that they were seeing. And once more is that they were admitting, you know what, we're not even reporting the adverse reactions. And then also very dangerous is as people start to so we're seeing adverse reactions not even being reported and or being admittedly not reported and or suppressed by medical professionals and or facilities. We already see that OSHA, I believe, has already put it out there to companies, businesses, etc., that you don't have to report adverse reactions. No, that's not a requirement, i.e. keep it under the rug, hush, hush. It's all gravy. And then I believe the CDC also recently came out for those people who were using what adverse reaction reports have been reported on VAERS to say, you cannot trust that information. Keep in mind, this is the only way or reporting system that the CDC has of tracking adverse reactions. And they're saying don't use it and or don't rely and or look to that for factual information, which I find very interesting. And you see this also coming at a time where you have a lot of influencers, celebrities like Nicki Minaj, Kyrie Irving, and I believe, was it Bradley Beal of the Washington Wizards, as well as Jonathan Isaac, if I'm saying this right, of the Orlando Magic. So top NBA stars coming out and saying, you know what, we're not taking the jab. And then also at the same time, you have the government taking these extra steps to force it among the American population here. A lot of things converging, and this is just another way of controlling one's ability to think, ability to speak freely and discuss and or pass and share along information. Just because it goes against the narrative makes me wonder just how much stock some of these YouTube execs and or people at the Alphabet Corporation, i.e. Google, have in the Moderna, Pfizer, and or Johnson & Johnson vaccines and or just stocks in that company altogether, and or what's their benefit, what's their play of going along with this government's agenda as it pertains to trying to obtain absolute vaccination status among the populace. Because I don't see anything wrong with someone choosing not to get it. It's almost as if, and this is also coming at a time when, and we'll see if this video is nuked as a result of what I'm about to say, is we're seeing live reports of fully vaccinated individuals still contracting the virus and or still getting hospitalized, if not at the same time outbreaks happening amongst the vaccinated population. Australia leaders just came out just a few days ago, early this week, and admitted that in a country that has a 50% vaccination rate, 50 to 60% vaccination rate amongst their population, 78% of all hospitalizations are those who have been fully vaccinated, got the 2 doses. Another 17% includes those who only got 1 dose of the vaccine. You combine 78 and 17%, and you get a whopping 95% of the hospitalizations are those who at the very least got 1 dose of the vaccine, only 5% of those unvaccinated. That also comes after just earlier this week, Harvard University, probably one of the most vaccinated facilities and institutions in this country. So you're talking about 96% of the student population and 97% of the faculties at Harvard University have been fully vaccinated. And yet their business school or graduate business school had to shut down any in-person classes and switch completely to online courses because they are experiencing an outbreak. Practically fully vaccinated, and yet you're still seeing an outbreak, i.e. individuals are catching it and spreading it. Keyword though being cases, so they could be asymptomatic cases and or cases of individuals with very mild symptoms. But that point is that there's still an outbreak. They're still catching it. They're still spreading it despite being fully vaccinated. About a month ago, 4 weeks ago, another university, Duke University, practically fully vaccinated as well. All I can say specifically, they're experiencing an outbreak, specifically 349 students and 17 or 18 faculty members have tested positive for COVID earlier in the month of September, late August. Of those, only 8 people were unvaccinated. 8 out of about 364 people, you're talking about only 2% of the outbreak is represented by unvaccinated individuals. The other 98% is represented by fully vaccinated individuals, i.e. those who are fully vaccinated are still catching it, they're still spreading it. And then you have Israel. I've talked about this in previous videos. You can go check that out. But Israel, probably the envy of all of the other nations trying to rush on this vaccination mandate train, the most vaccinated country in all the world because they got a head start on this. and started rolling out the vaccine earlier amongst their population. They're nearly fully vaccinated, with about 81-82% of the population got 2 doses of the vaccine, both Moderna and or either the Moderna and or Pfizer, and fully vaccinated. And things were looking good in the spring, but then early on in the summer, and this is while other countries were catching up to their point or where they were at, they started seeing an increase in cases, to the point that by September, they were seeing record number of cases at any point during the pandemic, including pre-vaccine era. They started seeing more cases than ever, as well as hospitalizations amongst the vaccinated represented over about 90%. Again, makes sense. A country that's practically fully vaccinated, the hospitalization, therefore, would make sense to be of those who are fully vaccinated. But again, if the vaccine, and this is not to say it's not effective at all, it's just reporting the fact that you're still seeing major outbreaks among places that are fully vaccinated, i.e., it kind of destroys the argument of these mandates. Why are you mandating something that doesn't stop the spread of the virus? It may reduce the potential for spread, although there's no reporting to specifically prove that. And again, a lot of these cases I've just mentioned kind of pokes holes at it, but it may reduce the potential. It may even reduce your potential to go to the hospital. But we're not seeing it stopping the virus. We're not seeing it slowing the spread and or cases. Therefore, it puts a hole in the argument of a mandate, because the whole point of the mandate initially at one point was if you get the jab, you won't get the virus. Well, that's been proven false. Then it evolved to, well, you're doing it for others, you reduce your potential to spread. If that was truly the case, we wouldn't be seeing what we're seeing in Australia regarding the 78 to as much as 95% of the hospitalizations being of those who are vaccinated. You wouldn't see the rising cases in Israel. You wouldn't see the outbreak in Harvard. You wouldn't see the outbreak in Duke University. So then why mandate it if there can still be an outbreak? And you're seeing YouTube now trying to censor voices amidst all of that, as they're really trying to force this mandate amongst the whole population. Why? What's in it for them? What's going on? And why are they trying to shut down the freedom of discussion? That's the video. That's really all I have. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is Bruce the Boss coming to you live from Georgia. Before I had to do this, before I made it my way back home to Texas next week. I may do more because it's just getting very frightening what we're seeing. And again, follow me also, just in case if I get nuked once more, follow me on Rumble and Odyssey. I'm also there, and feel free to also follow me on Twitter, just in case if my channel gets nuked again, you'll know where to follow and or find me on my new space here on YouTube, because I don't want to completely submit to the system. I don't want to say, you know what, I'm done, because there's a war to be fought and a voice that needs to be had, and I refuse to give up this space, and I refuse to lose in this culture war that we're having, this war on information, war on knowledge. So again, don't forget to smash on the subscribe button on this channel, but feel free to also try to follow me on my other spaces, just in case if the worst does happen, you'll still know where to find me there, and I can probably alert you to where my new channel is on YouTube. All right, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Peace.